Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, we got a bunch of big games, and there are several quarterbacks that I think have got to win this weekend, period. And there's a ton on the line. Now, a game that typically you wouldn't even think is going to be a big game, South Carolina against Vandy, because of Diego and Lenoris, it's a huge ball game, and it's getting a lot of hype. Obviously, Tennessee versus Georgia, that's the big game this weekend. It's almost got too much hype, honestly. It's going to be, hopefully, a barn burner. Then you got a bunch of others that are going to be very critical to the playoff, and there is one quarterback that's just, he has to win, period. So let's get into that one first, because that one's tonight at 10 o'clock. And that is UCLA versus New Mexico, which normally that's a game nobody really cares about. It's at UCLA. It's 10 o'clock, which would be 7 o'clock their time. There might be 30,000 people in that stadium, if that many. So obviously the crowd is, I don't even know if it really helps UCLA to be at home anymore. There's been a lot of talk about Joey and the trade between Nico and Tennessee and UCLA and all of that. There's a story out that says, if anything, it's thank you. That's according to Joey Aguilar's dad. He wants Nico Iamaleava to know he did a great thing transferring to UCLA. That's on Barstool Sports, so they're having a little fun with it, obviously. UCLA is already 0-2. Deshaun Foster is under a lot of pressure. There's talk that, he may end up losing his job this year. This is the one game they're favored, and significantly, 14.5 points. So UCLA, I think this is the only game remaining where they're going to be favored. And it's 2 touchdowns. So Nico needs to play well, at least get them to 1-2. And maybe that'll get them a little bit of momentum, because if you look at the schedule, their next game will be at Northwestern, and see they're off in between. And if for some crazy reason New Mexico pulls a huge upset, can you imagine having an off week and being 0-3 and getting beat by New Mexico, the Lobos? It would be unbearable. Now, here's what I think will happen, because I've watched Nico for an entire year last year. I think he'll play pretty well against a weak defense. They're at home, so there won't be any home field advantage that he'd be dealing with like he would on the road against UNLV. He'll probably throw for at least 250 yards, couple touchdowns. He'll probably run for one. I think they'll beat New Mexico, and that'll take some pressure off for a little bit. Plus, they're off the next week. So for 2 weeks, the pressure will kind of lower a little bit, and they'll have something positive to talk about over there in UCLA land. And he'll give them a little hope, because that's what Nico does. He's talented enough and a good enough athlete to give you some hope, and you'll think, man, he's turning the corner. He's turning the corner. And then you'll play Northwestern, who you legitimately have a chance to beat. They're not that good. Now, they'll probably be favored because it's at Northwestern. It's a lower-tiered Big Ten team. And then after that, it's going to get tough. Penn State, you have no chance against them.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
You got to go to Michigan State, then Maryland, at Indiana, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, USC. All of those games, you're the underdog. This is a team that could easily go 3-9, which would show that you're going in the wrong direction, because they were 5-7 last year. The trade will look terrible, and I don't know if Deshaun, they might give him one more year, maybe. It's hard to say. But this is an absolute must-win for Nico. Now let's talk about Diego Pavia and Lenoris Sellers. This has turned out to be a very exciting game. It's at South Carolina. They're favored by only 3.5. And Diego has been doing this all off season about multiple teams. And of course, he had something to say about South Carolina. He pretty much circled them on his schedule. And here he is on Bussin' Boys talking about it.
Which one of these games is circled to you I got to make sure?
I don't want to give the opponent no feel. What do they see this?
I think at this point, we've already gotten past that. I
think every school knows they need to have their cameras on at all times.
Yeah.
If Diego's in town the day before a game.
Game 3.
Game 3.
I know. Do we say it? I don't even know.
Yeah, we can say so. I mean, people can go and look, South Carolina. This is a podcast. It'll be out to the world.
Oh, yeah. Game 3. And that's all over South Carolina. Believe me, they did not miss that comment.
Oh, this is going to get damn ugly right here.
And I can guarantee you he said a lot worse. We've heard him talk about Tennessee and all of that sort of thing, and I've played you clips of it. And Lenoris is in kind of a similar situation. He needs to win this game as well. He's gotten all the hype in the world. He's been playing just okay. This is a major test. He's at home. He needs to have a good game. I think he will. Now, Lenoris has not been doing any of this in the offseason. He's just been getting straight A's like he always does and working on his game. So you've got one guy doing this and one guy here. And I've picked South Carolina to win this game and to cover. But I would not be shocked if Diego, once again, shocked the world. Speaking of that word, that's what he does. He took out Auburn and Alabama in the same year. He's the Alabama state champion.
He beat Joe Lewis's ass.
That's right, he did whoop Joe Lewis' ass. Joe Lewis was 75 years old when he fought.
Yeah, nobody can believe it. It is impossible. He did the impossible. So he's looking good, man. That's just a fact. And he has got the highest PFF rating of any quarterback in the SEC. So just saying, watch out for Diego. I'm still sticking with South Carolina on this one because I think their defense is good enough, and Williams-Brice Stadium's a really tough place to play. But should be a great ball game. Now we need to talk about Cade Klubnik. He is in a must-win situation. He needs to win this game at Georgia Tech, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. Now you look at their schedule. They lost to LSU, which, that was at home. They needed that win. But their schedule's not that tough. But if they go 1-2, they lose to Georgia Tech, that would be devastating. And Georgia Tech's a good team. They are not some easy win. So there's a ton of pressure on Cade Klubnik. I think Clemson's better than, that Troy game. Everybody thinks Troy's no good. Troy is actually a very good team. They've had a lot of wins the last couple of years. It should be a heck of a ball game at noon. Cade, you got to win this ball game because if you don't, you've got some other tough ball games in here. Now, Syracuse at North Carolina, Boston College, no problem. SMU could get you. You never know about Duke. Florida State's for real now. We saw that. The Gus Bus is coming for you. At Louisville's no guarantee. And then at South Carolina. You might end up with 2 losses, and it could be to 2 SEC teams. You've already been taken out by LSU. But if they lose this ball game, their odds of getting in the playoffs are diminished significantly. All right, we already know about Joey and Gunner. This is a huge matchup. If Joey somehow leads Tennessee to this win against Georgia, which they've not done in 8 years, this could be a Thomas Castellanos moment when he brought FSU, he and Gus Malzahn brought FSU from the ashes like a phoenix and beat Alabama into the ground. If somehow Joey keeps playing well and could somehow get us a victory, man, it'd be huge. Georgia is favored by only 3.5. That's because it's at Neyland, and Tennessee is a tough team there. Now, they've been bullying Tennessee for years now, but this is a gettable team. They've not looked great their first 2 weeks, which that could be Kirby playing possum, or it could be that Gunnar Stockton's not that good a quarterback. Let's take a look at Gunner's stats. He's had 2 touchdowns in 2 games, 417 yards. Had a solid QB rating. They've not played anybody. They played Marshall and Appalachian State and didn't look that good against Appy State. He's currently throwing for 69%, 417 yards, like I say, no interceptions. The jury's still out on Gunner, and he's not played in an environment like Neyland. He's going to get a rude awakening on that. Now, if he plays a great game, that's going to be fantastic for him, and that'll probably send Georgia right on down the path they need to be on. But if they lose, there's going to be a lot of boo birds for Gunner. They'll probably look for him to get replaced because Georgia won't tolerate bad play at the quarterback position. I mean, they used to get all over Stetson Bennett. He even got benched one time, and all he did was win. And I thought he played really well, but they just were like, well, I just don't think they liked the fact that he was a former walk-on and all that kind of crap. But all he did was win. 2 national titles. Now, I was with Todd Monk, and I understand that, but still, 2 natties. And then again, if Joey wins, Tennessee's off to the races. They're in fantastic shape after that. They still have Alabama on the road, Florida on the road, and Oklahoma's looking good. But for the most part, they would be in a great position to be able to make the playoffs. And after the whole thing that happened with Nico this offseason, it would be a monster turnaround. And it would be the story all over the country. So that's what's on the line, folks. Just that it will be a bigger story. Well, might be bigger than Thomas Castellanos. I don't know. That was a monster deal. I mean, FSU's in great shape now and a dangerous team. So there are your quarterbacks that they just got to win. And hey, Here's the deal. When you play big-time Division I football, Power 4, and you go to a great school like many of these kids did, and okay, Vanderbilt, I'm throwing you in. I threw you a bone, Vanderbilt. I put you into the great category. Just because Diego's there for a little while. You'll be back to normal after that.
How dare you!
It just boils down to this. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's what Tennessee's got to do. That's what Diego's got to do again. Lenoris, Cade Klubnik, all down the line. Even Carson Beck. He's playing South Florida. They're favored big time, but USF's got 2 top 20 victories already. So there's no rest for the weary. You got to win. It's that time of year. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom, hit that little button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here's the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Goodbye, old friend. May the force be with you.